Welcome to the first recorded Ask Tyler of 2023 or ever. I've done this for the patrons, but instead of the Monday live show, we're going to have this recorded Ask Tyler. There's a thread on Twitter. I asked for questions. I'll link the thread at the bottom of the show. But yeah, let's just jump straight into it. So, first question from Jesse James. Who are you taking at 103 in a one quarterback dynasty league? JSN, Anthony Richardson, or other? Well, I definitely would not consider Anthony Richardson in a one quarterback dynasty league. That's way too high. I have him a little bit lower. I mean, a lot lower. I have him at 111 in my 1QB rankings. At 103, it's pretty easy, though. I mean, Bijan is going to be 101, Jahmyr Gibbs 102, and then JSN is 103. I don't see a lot of argument about that. There's really not a lot of debate. It's a clear 1, a clear 2, a clear 3 for me in 1QB, and it's not really close. So JSN is the answer. Who is your sleeper for Dog Fantasy or my guy in this year's rookie draft? It's a good question. I will say these days there are no sleepers. There are no sleepers. Everybody is talked about. It's not like 10 years ago where you could slide someone by. It's not going to happen. Now, when it comes to my guy, it's Devon Achane for sure. I seem to just have him ranked higher, not necessarily among rookies. Among rookies, I do have him above Zay Flowers, which might be a little bit of a hot take, but I've seen plenty of people have Achane above Charbonnet and Miller like I do. But the difference is where I have Devon Achane ranked overall. I seem to have him ahead of a lot of other running backs. Dynasty Dorks did a Twitter value thread. Devon Achane lost almost every poll. I had Devon Achane winning all of those polls, all of those comparisons, like to DeAndre Swift, for example, versus Cam Akers. I have him ahead of those guys. So Devon Achane seems to be the guy I'm in on more than anyone else. As for a sleeper, though, let's look at that. So for me, I would throw out Deneric Prince, UDFA, who went to Kansas City, late round, but just keep him on your radar. Don't forget about him. The KC beat is really in on him. Outside of him, Trey Tucker, wide receiver, third round, Las Vegas. I'd never heard of him before the draft, but he went in the third round. Keep an eye on him. There's some rumors that Vegas is going to trade Hunter Renfrow. Those are a couple sleepers, but again, very little slides by these days. Let's move on. How much do you think Russell Wilson improves with Sean Payton as the head coach? Well, he did draft Marvin Mims, did not add a major running back, so they are going to look to pass the ball. We'll see if they trade Cortland Sutton or Jerry Jeudy. Both have been rumored. It's kind of weird with Tim Patrick there. They don't really have room for all these players, so it would make sense if someone goes, probably Sutton. But picking Mims, I don't know what that means. As for how much Russ improves, I'd say he improves, but not as much as we want. I'd say he improves a little bit. It's better than last year because it cannot be worse, but it's not going to be what we want, okay? It's not going to be what we want. I think Russ is going to be a high-end quarterback 2, finish between 13 and 16 in points per game or so. It's not going to be what we want. But he's not going to be as incompetent, and I think they could win a lot of games if they focus on running the ball. I think they need to bring in another veteran. Maybe Kareem Hunt could work there. Maybe Leonard Fournette. Maybe Ezekiel Elliott to complement Samaje Perine. And who knows when he'll be ready, Javonte Williams. From the Mighty J10, thoughts on Sam Laporta? Just took him at 211 in Dynasty League. That's an excellent value. I love Sam Laporta. You know, he doesn't really block super well. He's willing to do it, but he's not very good at it. However, he is an excellent receiver, and he got far superior draft capital as the tight end 2 to Detroit. Third pick of the second round. I'm all in. I mean, they have a need for it. Jameson Williams is suspended the first 6 games. I think he has a big opportunity. So I'm in on Sam Laporta, especially at that price. From Chase, is Gibbs a top 4 dynasty running back for you? Absolutely. Absolutely. Bijan Robinson, number 1. There's no doubt about that. Number 2, Breece Hall for me. He was very good last year, and he's 2.5 years younger than Jonathan Taylor, who I have at 3. But Gibbs is 4, and there's really no debate. 5 and 6 are McCaffrey and Barkley. They're older. And then 7 and 8 are Etienne and Walker, who got added competition in the draft. So Jahmyr Gibbs is my RB4, and it's not close. So he's closer to RB3 than he is RB5. So absolutely. I didn't expect him to get top 12 draft capital. He did receive top 12 draft capital. Excellent. And DeAndre Swift is gone. Mims or Mingo? From Drunkish77, Marvin Mims or Jonathan Mingo? Well, I mean, Jonathan Mingo went earlier in the draft at 208. Marvin Mims went at 232 to Denver. Mingo went to Carolina. I think Carolina's a slightly better landing spot, but it doesn't matter. They both went in the second round. Marvin Mims is 20 times the prospect that Jonathan Mingo is. Not 10 times, 20 times. So much better. Leagues better. I had pre-draft, I had Mims, maybe 2 or 3 rookie rounds ahead of Mingo. They were not close. I'm going to go with Marvin Mims. Draft capital similar enough. I'm going to trust my talent evaluation. Stick with Marvin Mims over Jonathan Mingo. Jonathan Mingo's a fade for me. He's probably the player I like the least at their value in this year's draft. From the Iron Mike, Jordan Addison or Jahan Dotson? It's a good question. Jahan Dotson actually went earlier in the draft last year than Jordan Addison went this year, but I don't care. Washington still has no quarterback at all. Sam Howell and Jacoby Brissett don't do it for me. So Jordan Addison, yes, he's behind Justin Jefferson, but Jahan Dotson's behind Terry McLaurin. Addison, for me, is an infinitely superior receiving prospect to Jahan Dotson. They're not in the same tier as prospects. I'm going to go with Jordan Addison. I think he's the one who has potential to have super high-end value. Jahan Dotson, I don't see it. I like Jahan Dotson. He's a buy for me, but not compared to Jordan Addison. Should I move from Hulk-like sports? Should I move up from the 102 to the 101 in a 12-team Superflex tight end premium PPR league when the 101 is only asking for Ritter? Yes, I would pay the 102 and Ritter for the 101. I like the quarterbacks available at 102, probably young, but Bijan is a generational prospect. I'd rather have Bijan, and Ritter's not worth anything. So I'll go with the 101 there. Will Breece Hall be the same force as last year in week 1? Good question. I would say yes. It's okay if he starts a little bit slowly, but I have him, as we talked about in an earlier question, ranked at RB2 in Dynasty, so I'm obviously expecting him to be really good. And I wouldn't have any major long-term concerns about Breece Hall. He's going to play week 1. He's progressing really well. So I just wanted to, if you're here, make sure to like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, hit the notifications bell, because there's going to be a lot more content like this. There's going to be the Ask Tyler show. There's going to be the Patreon show, which is just this show with questions from the patrons. Then Conan and I are going to be recorded podcast content. We're going to record a few 15 to 20-minute videos, kind of like this one. There'll be the two of us on a topic. Those will come out. So it's not going to be a set schedule. So you have to hit the notifications bell to be notified about all of this content. And then, as always, I suggest signing up for the Patreon. The link is up here, top right, which I can never, ever seem to point to. I'm working on it. No, somewhere over there. And it's also in the link if you're listening to this on podcast or you're listening to it on YouTube, it's at the bottom of the show. You can click on it there. I think that's all of the promo stuff. So let's move on to the next question. From Silver Fox FF, Pittman or the 109 in Superflex. So the problem is that there's really 8 players in Superflex. Bijan, Young, Richardson, Stroud, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Quentin Johnson, Jordan Addison. After that, it's a huge drop-off. I'll just take the known thing in Michael Pittman over the 109. And I appreciate this question. From Ryan Kate 15, what's your expectations for John Metchie? So the Texans added CJ Stroud. They added Tank Dell in the draft. They signed Robert Woods. They have Dalton Schultz. Kind of a mess. Yes, John Metchie has the opportunity to emerge this year as a weapon, but he's not a 1. They're going to get a 1 eventually, even if it's not this year. They have to. I know they traded away their first-round pick, but they still have Cleveland's first-round pick next year. I would temper expectations on John Metchie. If I could get any second, I would still take it. I'm a little bit concerned. I know he's recovering from cancer and all that, and it's a great story, but I just want to make sure that we're not getting carried away. He was not a stellar, amazing prospect in the first place. So, he may or may not hit, but I'll take any second. Garrett Wilson, 107 and 24 second, or Justin Jefferson, 1 QB 14 team from D. Critcher. Well, I would say that in a 14 team, I usually prioritize depth, but the 107 in a 1 QB is going to be Zay Flowers or A-Chain or Charbonnet. It's not that interesting. 24 second in a 14 team is worth a lot less. I think I'm just going to go with Justin Jefferson. I'm going to go with the known thing. If that 107 said 105 and I could get Jordan Addison, I'd like it a lot, or Quentin Johnson, I'd like it a lot better. But it's not. I'm going to stick with Justin Jefferson. Garrett Wilson, while I love him, is not as proven as Justin Jefferson. All right. Let's see here. So from F Football Bum, is Wentz officially done? Can I drop him in a super flex? I wouldn't yet drop him in a super flex. I do think he's going to go somewhere. But if it's a shallow league or a 10-team super flex, I'm okay dropping him. But in most super flex, deeper formats, I wouldn't drop him just yet. I would hang on to him, at least for a little bit. But in terms of being a relevant fantasy asset, I do think he's done. So yeah, I'm pretty out on Carson Wentz. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. Justin Jefferson and CMC for Jahmyr Gibbs. I already have Lamar in a 1 QB league. It does feel like it's a lot to pay, but I have Gibbs above CMC. Justin Herbert is a little bit much to add. You know, if I really am in a rebuild and need to move on from CMC, I would take it. You can always get another quarterback, but the value is probably with CMC. The way I play, though, I'd rather just hang on to Gibbs. It's a fair offer. Last question. Oh, we're getting through this pretty quickly. Yeah. From Harsh, who's going to be your 101 in redraft PPR? It's Justin Jefferson, and it's not close. For me, there's no real running back worthy of the 101 slot. Every running back has warts, Breece Hall, injury issues. You know, Bijan Robinson is a rookie. We're not exactly sure how he's going to be mixed in. Jonathan Taylor wasn't so great last year. Jahmyr Gibbs, obviously risky. Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley are aging. Josh Jacobs, I mean, obviously he's not worthy of the 101. So there really is no Austin Eckler, has some concerns. There's no running back who's worthy of that 101 spot. Among wide receivers, it's Justin Jefferson easily. I mean, he's been great for 3 straight years. He's been excellent. And there's really no one else who carries his pedigree with his youth and his upside, all of that. There's no one else like him. So Justin Jefferson is my 101. I think the 102 is a very interesting conversation. But Justin Jefferson is my 101, and there's really no conversation about it in redraft PPR this year. And I will be having my redraft ranks. They'll probably launch it sometime in mid-June to early July. So if you're on the Patreon or just waiting to see that, mid-June, early July will be when my redraft ranks launch. Now, I appreciate everyone who asked questions on Twitter. This show, periodically, I'll do this. I'll do the Patreon version of this show. Just look for it to come out, whenever. Try to do one, either the Patreon or Ask Tyler every week. We'll kind of see. Some weeks I'll do both. But I just want to provide this for the people. Actionable, quick content to answer your questions for those of you who interact on Twitter. And yeah, I want to thank everyone for watching. I appreciate the audience. And don't forget, every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, live stream. This week, we're going to have a Dynasty Startup Superflex mock draft on the show. So make sure to be here. Check that out. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all next time.